State, and really pleased to welcome onto the show the chairman of Haverfordwest County, a week or so on from the Bluebirds securing European football for the first time since 2004, as they, of course, beat Newtown in that really exciting Saturday on penalties 4-3. Rob, from us all, first of all, at Pure West Sport, congratulations. Some achievement.
Thank you. No, I wouldn't say exciting. I mean, not in my shoes. It was not exciting. It was the worst 120 minutes of football of my life. The last 6 seconds were pretty special, but the prior to that was not enjoyable at all. But no, it's been obviously got where we want to be. It's been an amazing journey, and we've topped it off in style. But yeah, one thing it wasn't was enjoyable or exciting.
There's so much we want to cover with you this evening, Rob. But yeah, just going back to that game at Newtown, and when Corey Shepherd scored that winning penalty, as chairman and as someone who's put so much time into the football club with loads of other people as well supporting you, I know you'd be the first to say that, but what was that feeling like? Because you're a football person, follow Lake Norient, of course, before you came to Haverfordwest, but what did that feel like as chairman when that happened?
It was like nothing else, to be honest. I won't lie, I broke down. It was I guess relief, joy. I don't know. It's hard to put a word on a particular emotion, but I was with my 10-year-old son who had to put his arm around me rather than the other way around. So he did a great job looking after me. But it was just a lot of emotions at the same time, and it's sort of quite surreal. You even in the kind of 15-20 minutes afterwards when you're on the pitch, you're hugging everyone, and there's obviously a great atmosphere on there. You still think like, what's okay? So who have we got to beat next to get there? It was kind of it didn't really dawn on me, and I think probably the same for others, that we didn't realise that was actually all we needed to do. So it was a lot of emotions, really, denial, excitement. Yeah, it's hard to put a finger on one, but a lot going through my head that day, and took a few days to actually sink in, regroup, and focus on what we do next. But it was an unbelievable feeling. As a fan, you have some amazing memories. Obviously, as an Orient fan, winning the National League back into the Football League, and obviously winning the title this year. But it was unparalleled to what it felt like on last Saturday.
Gordon and Fraser will come in just a sec. I just need to ask you about the celebrations. What was it? What was the night like? Did you make it to Eddie's?
I didn't. So I had my son. We had to get back to London, so I wouldn't trust myself going out and having the two of us in a ditch in Shrewsbury at 4 o'clock on Saturday morning. So to be honest, just wanted to enjoy the moment there, but at that time just wanted to get home and sort of take stock of everything. But I saw some amazing shapes being thrown on the dance floor on that night. So I wish I was there, but I behaved myself and spread my celebrations across the week.
Excellent stuff. Well, listen, any questions for Rob whilst he's with us, do put them in the comments as we go through. Who's going to go first? I know you're both itching to speak to Rob.
Go on, Fraser.
Go on, Fraser.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't mind, because I asked Tony this last week. He started to answer and his broadband went, so I've been left hanging for 7 days, actually. So, no, in terms of, well, I say a busy summer ahead in the transfer market. It's been a busy day, I think, it's just got in the transfer market for you, Rob. But did qualifying for Europe change your position in the fact that you felt it strengthened it in the market, in that the targets that you maybe had in mind, you could then offer the caveat of European football?
I'd say yes, definitely increases the appeal, but also has challenges alongside that in terms of negotiating a kind of fair value for players. I think even in the last few years before Europe, there was this inflated expectation that Haverfordwest were throwing money at players, and we're like, it's not been the case. We've tried to find young, hungry players that want to play here for reasons not just about financial, but that buy into the style of football we want to play, because I think it's quite different to a lot of clubs in this league. A lot of players prefer this kind of football, and they can enjoy themselves, and hopefully we'll get to a point where we've had success. So definitely the European draw. I say Europe as if we're going to still be in it in February, which, look, let's be realistic, probably not. But it's kind of two to 4 games, I'd say, is a realistic expectation. Obviously, we want to try and win as many as we can, but you kind of look by the end of August, we'll be focusing on the league. So there is that draw, and it'll be obviously players at this level. There's not huge opportunity to play in Europe, so it does. But then with that comes kind of unrealistic expectations at times, even as it was before this, as I said. So we have to just be careful that we're not getting into kind of bidding wars. We're not kind of offering players money beyond what we feel they're worth and what's relative to the standards. So we have to still be careful. Well, Tony's been around a long time, and to be fair, he's the one really focusing on sticking within the budgets that we've set, and it's not really changed much from last season, if at all. So we have to make sure that any investment isn't necessarily all about being on the pitch. We need to make sure the financial aspect of Europe is there to kind of see the club over the next few years. So it has its challenges alongside obviously the positives of being able to bring people in and buy into it. But we have to think beyond Europe. We have to think about next season now. This is going to be difficult for us planning a pre-season alongside a European campaign, which is really exciting. But at the same time, we don't want to go into Europe and enjoy that moment and not be in a position where we start the league well and we're kind of floundering by October, November. We need to keep an eye on both fronts with all of that in mind as well, not just the next few months.
Sure. Good.
Yeah, realistically, Rob, you just hit the nail on the head there. It's not all about Europe now. It's about building a squad that can compete and get into that top 6 position. That's what you need to do now, I would think. That's what you and Tony will be working on more than Europe, because as you say, we're not expecting Haverfordwest to go and win the Europa Cup, but it'd be nice if they could get a few games. But the most important thing, I would think, as you just have been pointing out, is to build a stronger squad for next season in the style of football that Tony and yourself and the club wants to play. And let's be fair, you've attracted a lot of new fans, and I'm delighted to see that, because for many years Haverfordwest have played decent football but couldn't attract anybody coming through the gates. But you're working very hard on that, and it's been highlighted a lot on Scorio as well with the football. Having played the games that you have, that Haverfordwest has become a very interesting commodity in Pembrokeshire, and I'm delighted that is happening. And what about yourself?
Yeah, like I said from the beginning, the idea was to make the club visible and try and be a club that the county can be proud of. Look, it always has been. I'm not saying there was anything wrong in the past, but we've got an opportunity being back in the Cymru Prem from when I took over. We've had that platform to really showcase what we're all about, and for us to be in a position where we've given them good entertaining football at the same time, and now ultimately a European tour for everyone to look forward to. So the support has been amazing. I was overwhelmed on, even at Cardiff Met, obviously there wasn't no free entry, there was no travel provided. We had over 300 at Cardiff Met, so an amazing following, and to have the numbers that we had in Newtown and outsung them all game was incredible. So no, there is a real kind of sense of achievement, not just on the pitch, but what we've created as a community asset, as something that the town can be proud of. And it just shows really just the messages of kind of rival clubs, and including those in the Pembrokeshire League, were offering us good luck messages throughout the week and congratulating us after the game. It's certainly bridge gaps, and it's good to see, because we want everyone to be proud of what we're achieving, and we'll try and support the community and the county as much as we can.
That's great to hear. And Franny says Haverfordwest v Liverpool on a Thursday evening sounds quite tasty, which Rob would probably agree with, actually. I just want to know actually what happens now after that game, planning starting for Europe in terms of practicalities. There's a draw to come next month. You'll be representing the club at that. A rough idea, you narrow it down to about 20 potential countries who you could face, Rob, in the next round. What are your thoughts about representing Haverfordwest County, first of all, a European draw? And then have you and Tony speculated at all about where you might like to go? And indeed where you wouldn't want to go?
Look, it's going to be really surreal sat in the building with clubs from Europe and watching your name pulled out the draw. Even just seeing references it to social media and on Wikipedia, and seeing Haverfordwest in that qualifying round, it still takes a little while to sink in. So we're just going to enjoy those few days, and then obviously the hard work will start then with planning, logistics and such. I'm not going to say he'll want to play, because a certain Mr. Aaron Williams said that after the semi-final, and that certainly backfired in us beating Newtown. So I'm certainly not going to say who we want to play. I mean, Kazakhstan's not really been on my bucket list, so we could try and give that one a swerve if we can. Look, it'd be nice to play in continental Europe, but ultimately, look, at this stage, we want a winnable tie. So there's probably 10 or 15 clubs in there you could think we might be able to stand up against, and obviously beyond that is you have teams like Club Brugge come in. That will be a story, wouldn't it, if we pull them out in the second qualifying round? But yeah, look, the first one, look, we'd like to go to somewhere where we feel we can win a game, and then we can kind of enjoy where that takes us after that. But yeah, no preferences. It's that completely out of our control. So we'll go where we're told, and we'll try and enjoy it.
Well, I mean, it is exciting. Go on, Fraser.
I'm not suggesting you get ahead of yourself, Rob, but I just noted now the final is in Athens next May.
Always wanted to go to Greece. Yeah,
flights are decent at the moment.
Yeah. I mean, we're joking about that in terms of, look, we've said within 3 years we'll qualify for Europe. Now I'm sort of we're born on the Monday. Where do we go from here? So I'm going to tell you now, 3 years I will win it.
We should ask you about that, Rob, because I remember when you first came on Pure West Sport like 3 years ago, and you did say European football was something that you wanted, and that was one of the targets. How's that journey been to achieving it, and also just through your managers as well? I was thinking about this earlier, that you've had Wayne Jones to Nicky Hayen to Tony Pennock, and I almost think they've always like facilitated the next one, haven't they? Because if it wasn't for Wayne Jones, Nicky Hayen wouldn't have come in and taken over what he did. If it wasn't for Hayen coming in, you probably wouldn't have got Tony Pennock to come in. So that's been an exciting journey as well with the people you've had coaching the team.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, you look at the obviously adopted Wayne when we came in. You look at the playing squad we had. It was kind of given those that got us into the Prem an opportunity. Picked out a few from the Cymru South. Obviously, Corey Shepherd came in from Cambrine at that point and has gone on to be a great player for us and will go on to, I'm sure, play a good level throughout his career. So, yeah, you look back then and we gave kind of quite a few a chance and they didn't let us down. We've kind of invested a bit since then. Some have worked out, some hasn't, but ultimately we've come to this point. But yeah, look, I love Wayne to bits. We had a great relationship and he did really put the foundations in. I think he deserves a lot of credit for that. And also, I think him sort of stepping down at that point is justified his decision, really. So, yeah, lots of respect for him. And he was there on Saturday as well. So it was great to have him there cheering the boys on. Nicky obviously was a massive coup at the time, massive left field appointment. I don't think anyone saw it coming, even me before the process. I didn't imagine we'd be able to attract or entice someone like that to come over, but had a massive impact on the football in front, particularly in that 4 or 5 months, and built a squad to take us into the new season. Unfortunately, didn't make it that far himself, but obviously he's gone on to a lot of success over in Belgium and currently they're at first team assistant manager after Scott Parker leaving. And look, Tony's come in and he's run with what squad he's got. I think we had sort of issues early on the season, a lot of it around injuries and not being able to field a consistent team. But I think you really saw Tony's team the last 12 to 15 games, and the results have been fantastic. And you can see just the desire. I mean, particularly in the last 2 games, because we played 120 minutes in the semi-final plus penalties. We played a day later than Newtown. These are part-time players. I mean, you look at the Premier League and you probably get away with playing 3 times a week, where an extra time and follow it up at the weekend. It's difficult ask for these players, particularly after a tough season. And yeah, they stood up to everything. I think it was culminating. Ryan mentioned it on our Nest podcast. It culminated on Reece Abrazazi running 60 yards to nick the ball off the striker's foot in the 129th minute. I mean, that just shows the level of guts that they had, and they were extremely brave during those 2 games. And that comes from, obviously, they're in their own desire, but belief in and in understanding what the manager and the club wants them to do. So Tony's come on and done. He's put himself into the bracket of being one of the best managers the club's had, by achieving what we've achieved after a year with players that weren't necessarily his players. Obviously, going into this season now, there's going to be a few changes as we've seen already, but there's a core of that squad that are still there, and we know we're capable of now. So we'll go in confident. As I said, it's going to be a very different pre-season to most, but we can go in good form, in confidence, knowing that we've got some great players who are believing in the coaches that kind of set them up to play on a game by game basis.
Fraser.
Yeah, Rob, I'm actually touch on something Gordon said a bit earlier. And I got a friend down the road who described himself as an Haverfordwest Ultra. I can't name him because I don't think his wife knows he portrays himself as that. But being Gordon reported at a time when Gordon touched on it, there wasn't fanatical support for Haverfordwest, and Ultras certainly didn't exist at the club. But the fact that you have got that band of fanatics now who are prepared to go home and away, and again, I can't name him because he says he's going wherever they draw in Europe. But the fact that you've got a group who are that passionate support, what do you attribute that to, Rob? Because it wasn't there when you came in. I'm not going to beat around the bush about that. Was it maybe the increased publicity around the club? Maybe perhaps that you were playing in lockdown and you were live on SLC. Perhaps there wasn't other football going on. And was it a concerted effort by the club to maybe tap into the community, so to speak?
I think it's a number of things. I think from our point of view, we have put a lot of effort in making the club open and available. I think a lot of these guys came when we did that free entry game against Cardiff Met.
Yeah.
The start of, well, I call it last season before last now. We had 900 through the door. They were queuing up around Morrison's. I thought Morrison's thought they were giving stuff away out the back door. So that showed that the appetite was there. And to be honest, that was a bit of a test. I mean, it would have scared me if 400 turned up and on a free entry on a Friday night. So that would have certainly scared me. But the fact we had so much there, it shows to me that there is that appetite to watch football. And with what we do on and off the pitch, I think that drives people in. But then I think you look at the wider football picture now, clubs kind of outpricing a lot of fans and kind of falling out of love with the bigger game. What we want to create is a good standard of football, which I think it is for this level, a welcoming atmosphere, and a place where you can really enjoy yourself, express yourself, and feel like you're a part of. So that's I think a lot of what we've done, and the team specifically down there have attributed to that. But I think that we're also taking advantage of the falling out between a lot of football fans and their clubs that probably have not treated them as they should have done.
Were you aware of any kind of previous disconnection with the community? I know I'm not going to talk about things with you in there, but Gordon and Ben both know it well. There was a bit of a disconnection. Some of it, I think, was unjustified disdain towards Haverfordwest, to be honest. Some of it, perhaps the club didn't help themselves. But when you came on board, was that something you were made aware of, that there was a need to maybe breach a gap with the community? Or was it something that just came naturally to you to target anyway? Yeah,
look, it was, obviously I did quite a bit of research and had many conversations before I took over. It probably sunk in when I finally got down there and walked in the town, and 60 seconds away from walking out of the turnstile, you would have no idea Haverfordwest County Football Club was there. Yeah. So that kind of really dawned on me, even if no one said anything. That would have been the point that I thought, well, this is probably a bit of a bigger job than I would have expected. But it made me more determined then to change that and have a presence in town and the local area and try and get more people through the door. And we're fifth highest attendance in Wales in the Welsh leagues, which is a massive achievement from where the club was bringing in 150 to 200, where we're close to 400 now as an average fan base. And I think that with the success we've had in the last season, hopefully that will continue to build, and we can have a great atmosphere down there, game on game, and take a coach load away and give people a good weekend out. But the fans have been amazing and giving up their weekends every week to travel up to Carnarvon, up to Airbus and Flint, and it's just a massive ask, particularly with the roads in Wales and the trains. I think you have to go via Birmingham to get to most places in North Wales. So they've been incredible, and it makes us all really proud as well, players as well. The engagement between the players and the fans has been excellent, and I think they really appreciate and see it as something quite different and quite special in this league to have such great following.
And that was evident, really, in the reaction we've seen after the Newtown game. Rob, it's great to talk to you today. I know it has been busy, and Gordon and Fraser both alluded to it. A few new signings today. We'll just finish on that, looking ahead to some of the new names that have come in. Rio Dyer, who's a winger, isn't he? I think he was with Holland Swansea. Kai Whitmore from Pennock, and Ivan Knott as well from Carmarthen. what can you tell us anything about the 3 new arrivals today?
Yeah, look, Kai's someone with Wayne was really keen to sign from Ammanford. He went to Pennock at that time, but I think he was a standout in that league. And yeah, from what we've seen, he's tenacious, box to box, great, really technical, can chip in with a goal as well. I think he's our kind of player, and so I think you'd probably say he's the one we really wanted to sign going into to this season. So I was really happy to get that one done. Rio, Tony knows fairly well from Hull, obviously at Britain Ferry as well, where his brother Ray was a coach. But I think Tony's known of Rio for quite some time, and he's quite a dynamic, young. Obviously had a bad injury, but I think he's got a lot of ability. And Tony's watched Ifan a few times. I think he's played for colleges or schools at national level, and obviously playing 20 odd times for Carmarthen in the Cymru South. It's quite a physical league, so it shows that he's definitely got something about him. So just fits with our brief of just that we want to bring in young, hungry footballers with a point to prove. You obviously need some experience alongside that as well. But I think they're three good signings. Hopefully not just for this season. Hopefully there'll be players that can develop with us over a number of years.
And if you do need some experience, someone on Messenger, I think Matt Phillips has said Lee Trundle's left Ammanford. So if you need an experienced striker, he's available.
You never know.
Well, Rob, honestly, it's so good to talk to you. And again, congratulations from us all at Pure West Sport. We look forward to the draw on the 20th of June. And I think every time you come on, you always say it's a busy time, isn't it? I bet this really has been and is going to be in the weeks ahead. But we look forward to hearing who the Bluebirds get drawn against on the 20th of June. And we'll talk to you ahead of that European adventure kicking off. So well done once again. Thank you as ever for your time and keep up the great work, and pass it on to Tony and the players as well.
Thank you. No, good to chat to you guys.
Excellent stuff.
Cheers, Rob.
We will just take a sec and we'll come back for the final part of tonight's Pure West Sport, coming up to 8:45 now.